Good day, ma'am. So, can you please state your name?
My name is Ntombizonke Sethi.
So, how often do you experience load shedding in your area?
Currently, it's not been that often, but previously, probably 2 times a day.
Okay, so how often do the power outages typically last?
2 hours each.
What time of day or night does load shedding usually occur?
Worst, I believe, is for us actually 4 to 6. And then also maybe when you want to cook, so probably around 4 to 6 as well in the afternoons, or even from 6 to 8.
Have you noticed any patterns or schedules to the load shedding?
Yes, they all typically take 2 hours, and I feel like at all the worst times.
So, how do you prepare for load shedding? For example, candles, generation,
Generators,
generators.
yeah, well, unfortunately, we don't have access to generators, so we use what we have, which is candles, and trying to keep it lit, and then buying power banks for our phones so we can be entertained during the load shedding.
How does load shedding affect your daily life?
It's the worst. But I think honestly, it's just a way of living at this point in time. Unfortunately, we had to adapt to what was given to us. So we are dealing with it the way everyone else is dealing with it. So having your power banks and keeping charged all the time.
Okay. So, have you experienced any impacts due to load shedding?
I think negatively, I would say not being able to use electricity which is something that we're used to using all the time. So not being able to watch your TV, not being able to wash clothes, um, just the basic stuff. Yeah. And then I think positively, I think we all need some time off of the electricity, whereby then we need to find other ways to keep ourselves entertained.
Okay. Are there any challenges or difficulties you have faced during load shedding?
I think it goes back to the things I've said previously. So I think not being able to keep yourself entertained, not being able to cook, not being able to watch TV. I think it's just the basic stuff of just not being able to live your daily life without the worry of the electricity switching off at any time.
So, have you noticed any improvements or changes in load shedding over time?
I think the only reason now we don't have load shedding is because of the elections. But besides that, I think it's something that we have to adapt to because it's going to continue going, unfortunately. And it's not something I believe will be improved anytime soon.
Okay, so how do you think load shedding could be improved?
I think a good way is not switching off the electricity when we most need it. Maybe when we're asleep, it makes sense. But then once we are all awake and people need to go to work, people need to go to school, you can't switch off the electricity. That doesn't make sense for me. But I think a way to improve the whole thing is just proper time management.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.